Welcome to a clearing in the woods near Baffontein, a little northeast of Johannesburg, where a group of people are gathering for something South Africans can really get behind. No, it's not the Springboks competing in the Rugby World Cup. It's something even better. In fact, it's the unveiling of this. It's called the Machine PZ490, with a 500cc two-stroke motor that was designed and built by a team of engineers here in South Africa. It's headed by Koos Zietsman, who is a bike racer from way back, and Rimpies Pretorius, who's the veteran of multiple Roof of Africa races. And the whole project is simply an act of passion, with the goal being to compete with their own machine at the Roof of Africa Enduro.
In principle, you can't buy a 500 two-stroke anymore. Okay, they've gone out of fashion because it's just too much of everything. And Rimpies grew up in the 80s when the big bore two-strokes were the thing, and he couldn't afford one. And then when he could afford one, they were not around anymore. You just can't buy them. So last year he started approaching me. We've been together since 2004 doing the roof every odd year. And he said to me, listen, he's got this plan. He wants to make a CR500 type barrel, water cooled, and put it on a KTM 300 gearbox. And the third time he asked me, and he showed me the kit from BRC in Canada that they do it. But it's really expensive. And I said to him, rather than buying this expensive piece of kit, and I mean, it's nonsensical. We're all engineers, you know. Let's do something fun. Let's design this thing from the ground up, and we did.
That was towards the end of February this year, and by some sort of witchcraft, them and their team managed to go from just an idea to a starting running machine in just 7 months and 20 days.
The casings, the barrel, the head, the crank, everything, the starter where it interfaces, balancer shaft, the power valve system. We designed, manufactured and assembled the whole thing for fun, just for fun. There's no economic vision for this thing. It's really just for fun. We're both design engineers with a lot of experience. I'm an armored vehicle design engineer, so I understand a lot about, you know, how to face things, what to do first, etc., etc. But we started off by taking the KTM 300 cases. We 3D scanned them, got them into a model, and then the real hard work started, you know, developing everything, making sure everything fits, designing the casings, checking for interferences. We used as much modern technology as we could afford, and that made sense for us. So the first set of casings that Rimpies designed, he 3D printed completely, put the gearbox and the crank, a plastic crank in there, rotated everything, checked for clearances. There were a lot of problems. Then he did a revision of the design, made a second print. There were still problems. Then he made the third print, and then we said, okay, good to go. You know, it's time to. In the Second World War, they said, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead.
Most people have at some stage worked on a motor, or at least done some sort of mechanical repair, and will know the joy of hearing a motor start after all that hard work. But what is it like listening to a motor that you designed and built from the ground up start for the very first time?
You know, it's a crazy thing. I'm a very emotional kind of guy. I wear my heart on my sleeve. People can see how I feel. I get very excited. I have big emotions. I get goosebumps for nothing. We started it on Monday night the first time. The complete video that I shot when Rimpies said, okay, should I try and start it? From when he asked that, I switched my cell phone on. The complete clip until he'd run it and switched it off was 1 minute and 40 seconds. That's what it took, first start. It was just that, it was unbelievable.
Ja baby, yeah! Rimpies, jou lekker ding!
But there's more thought put into this machine than simply getting it running. There's also how you want it to ride. After all, this is not just a hooligan bike for blasting up and down the street. It needs to compete in one of the toughest enduros in the world. And that's why this motor is more about torque than the vicious 500cc's of old.
The way the thing pulls from the bottom, and it's just like a freight train, and it's unbelievable. And it's not like the old big bore two-strokes where you've got to be real careful because there's nothing and then suddenly all hell breaks loose. Because of the power valve, it starts pulling like a four-stroke from way down there, and it just keeps on going, and the sound of it is unbelievable. So that got the juices flowing.
And then dare we ask, how much all of this cost?
I'd prefer not to put a figure on it, but I can tell you that you can Google BRC, check what their kit costs, and if you take what their kit costs and you add courier costs to South Africa, you add import duties, you add VAT, designing and building this thing from scratch cost about the same as importing that kit from Canada.
For interest, a BRC 500cc barrel kit alone is close to 120,000 Rand. And that's before you pay for its trip from Canada to your home.
All of us had a hell of a lot of fun, a lot more fun than just putting the bucks on the table.
Next, the team will be heading to the roof of Africa to try their hand in Lesotho. But what happens after that?
For some odd reason, when we got the funding from THC at the beginning of the year on 25 of February, I said to Rimpies, well, let's build the bike for roof, but let's build a mild bike for roof that we can actually complete the roof with. But this is such an amazing opportunity. Let's do something, let's build a second engine and do something really interesting. Let's try and go for some kind of world record. And initially I thought about doing a drag racing world record, but a friend of mine in the UK, Andy Dawes, told me about Bonneville. I know about Bonneville land speed records. And so very quickly we changed it around and said, let's build a second engine and go and attempt to break the world record for this class of motorcycle at Bonneville Salt Flats in August 2024. That's next year. So the design of the second engine of that particular engine is going like a Boeing. It is a completely different engine. It's based on a KTM 690 gearbox, which is a lot beefier because this gearbox is sort of close to the limit. It runs on methanol for more power. It runs on 18:1 compression ratio. The porting is wild, a lot wilder than this. And the whole bike the engine is developed to push out, it's developed by Niels van Niekerk to push out as much power as we possibly can, so that we are going to go to Bonneville next year with a reasonable chance of breaking the existing world record.
We are all rooting for them. To find out more and to further follow their journey, go to their website on www.machine.com.